program, which is to discuss the professional webinars on the same topic, is due to the dynamic push our esteemed Secretary General Dr. Sharda Jain has given to it. There is no doubt that awareness of the professional indemnity insurance and how much to insure ourselves and what it entails is what every gynecologist, for that matter, every clinician should know, whether they are in the private or in the government practice, a consultant, a junior resident, or a senior resident. With the rising number of litigations and the trust deficit that has crept in practice for doctors, and we gynecologists in particular are more vulnerable. Medical events like side effects, complications in surgeries, they are going to happen, and statistics will catch up with all of us. Whether it is a uterine perforation, a shoulder dystocia, fetal distress leading to hypoxic and ischemic encephalopathy, postpartum hemorrhage leading to a hysterectomy, so on and so forth. If, unfortunately, we face a litigation, then we find that the companies that we have insured ourselves with have poor services of lawyers who, though knowing the law, know nothing about medicine and even less about obstetrics and gynecology. They tell us, Dr. Saab, छोड़ दो, फिक्र मत करो, हम सब संभाल लेंगे. क्या संभाल लेंगे? The lack of a proper documentation and a strong defense is the perfect recipe for losing a case, as voiced by so many gynecologists. We must learn from their struggle, their trials, and their triumphs. In the first part of the webinar, we will have Dr. Jitendra Sharma telling us and discussing professional indemnity insurance, something which we all should know about. In the second part, we have 10 discussants, leading gynecologists of Delhi, headed by our Secretary General, Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am, who will recount their experiences and brushes with the medical legal problems that they have been confronted with. And last but not the least, I am requesting Dr. Shakuntala, who will give us a powerful message on the concept of the importance of preventive medical legal consultancy, which we have all been talking about for the last couple of days. And with dynamic lawyers like Dr. Jitendra, we urge you all to take it up with him through the Delhi Gynae Forum, the medical legal cell. So with that, we start today's webinar. I request Dr. Jitendra to discuss professional indemnity insurance, what every gynecologist must know.
Happy to be with you all. Okay, so my slides are visible and I am audible. Am I audible?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are going to discuss once again what is indemnity and what are different indemnity insurances available and what are pros and cons and what is the need of the hour. So everything we are going to discuss today. So this is the video which describes the whole day of an obstetrician, how they pass the whole day with all the difficulties and all the problems coming around their day-to-day practice. We all know medical litigations are increasing in number constantly and steadily. There is 100%, 104% rise every year in the medical litigation against doctors. And we all know ignorance of law is no excuse. And prevention is better than cure. So you can prevent litigation only by one way, that is by acquiring knowledge of law. So you must acquire knowledge. We all know there is one doctor and there are multiple fora where cases are filed, and we are supposed to face all different fora at a time. So we all know that a case can be filed in criminal law, in police FIR can be filed, or in court FIR can be filed. Civil case in civil court as well as in consumer court can be filed. Complaint can be filed in different councils, state medical council, national medical councils, and complaints may be filed even in different commission, human right commission, women right commission, under clinical establishment act and at CMOs of Chief Minister and Prime Minister's office. So basically, we all know that after the case of VP Shanta versus Union of India, which was decided in 1995, that was the unfortunate case fought by IMA, and after that case, doctors were considered as service provider and patient as consumer. And the new talk of town after that is of producers and consumer. He who pays the piper calls the tune. That means after this decision, the person who is taking the treatment will decide that what kind of treatment he or she wants to take. We all know the amount of compensation is also increased day by day. In 1999, in the case of V. Chandrasekhar against Apollo Hospital, Chennai, the maximum amount of compensation at that time was 19 lakhs rupees. Later on, it rose to 1 crore rupees in Prashant Dananka's case against Nizam Institute of Medical Sciences. And after that, in 2013, we all know the case of Kunal Saha, when the wife of Kunal Saha died, Anuradha Saha's case, in which rupees 5.96 crore rupees compensation was granted against Amri Hospital, Calcutta. So with interest, it rose to 11.5 crore rupees. So dear friends, the amount is rising day by day. And to compensate these losses, we must take indemnity insurance. So the first message is that nobody can practice or should practice without taking indemnity insurance. What is the meaning of indemnity? See, indemnity means making good for losses. That means first you have to bear the losses, and then the company will recover those losses and they will pay to you. So this policy is basically meant to cover liability falling on them as a result of error and omission committed by them. So basically, there are 7 different kinds of professions as per the definition given by Supreme Court of India. Doctors is one, medical is one of the profession, engineering is a profession, architect is a profession, chartered accountant is a profession. Then there are overall insurance agents are also considered as a professional. So basically, there are 7 kinds of professions defined, and every professional should indemnify himself during practice, because profession means it depends on individual skill, and whenever you fail to produce your skill, then if it causes damage to the patient, then person to whom you are giving services, then that is to be compensated by indemnity insurances. So it is necessary to take indemnity insurance. The very question comes in our mind that who should take indemnity insurance, particularly in medical field. So the answer is every doctor should take, whether he is in private practice, whether he is serving in private institution, whether he is working in government hospital, trust hospital, ESI hospital, army hospital, whether a person is a PG student, junior or senior resident. So all are liable under Consumer Protection Act, and that's why it is necessary to take these kind of insurances. There is myth in the mind that government doctors and hospitals are not covered as a service provider under Consumer Protection Act. The answer to them is this, that patient treated even free can also be considered as consumer by different courts. In the case of Pavitra Singh versus State of Punjab, this was the government hospital Samrala, where the doctor working in government hospital was held liable and compensation was granted. Again, in Jagjeevan Pal versus PGI and Pijmer Hospital. So this is also a government hospital where 2.5 lakhs rupees compensation was granted against the doctor. There are many examples against many government hospitals. The doctors working in government hospitals, they are been compensation is awarded against them to the patient. The example is V. Krishna Kumar versus State of Tamil Nadu. You all know the case of that is retinopathy of prematurity. In this case, 1.8 crore rupees compensation was granted against the Tamil Nadu government itself. So, and a doctor had to pay a part of it from his pocket, who is working in the government hospital. So, dear friends, cases are filed. I am giving these examples because you must know that we are not talking literally without any proof. See, in Gujarat High Court, the first case was decided against one resident. That was the case of State of Gujarat versus Bhanudanji, Mehsandanji, Gadvi. And in that case, for the case of PL failure, the resident, junior and senior residents had to pay compensation. There are multiple cases against junior resident and senior residents. These are a few examples. I will not go into detail of all these things. These are all cases against junior and senior residents. So the message is that even junior and senior resident working under professors in government institute or in private hospitals doing PG should also indemnify themselves. Case of are decided against the government who are working, the doctors who are working even in ESI hospital. This is the example, Kishore Lal versus Chairman Employee State Insurance Hospital, and that was decided in 2007. Again, the patient was compensated and doctor had to pay. Even in Army Hospital, you know the case of versus Union of India and Alka Srivastav for missing congenital malformation. They had to pay 5 lakhs rupees. So any doctor whoever even is working in Army Hospital is not immune, and all must indemnify themselves. See, in the eyes of law, the doctor and hospital are two different persons. So whenever you are working in a hospital, or a hospital has to take separate indemnity insurance for error and omission. So hospital is a separate person, and hospital should also be indemnified separately. Now, the question will come in our mind that how much in the insurance should be taken. So for individual, it is we always suggest that at least to take insurance for 1 crore rupees. For surgical branches, it will cost around 10,000 rupees plus GST. That means 11,800 rupees with the government agencies. And if you will take group insurances, even the premium will be less. For hospital, why we suggest 1 crore? Because the maximum amount of compensation till date against an individual doctor is 72 lakhs rupees. So that's why we advise that minimum 1 crore compensation, this insurance should be taken. If you are treating high cadre people or high earning people, then you may take even more. For hospitals, we all know the corporate hospitals, private hospital, trust hospitals, multi-speciality hospitals are being dealt very seriously by the courts, and that's why we always suggest that if you are associated with the corporate big hospitals, then you should indemnify your hospital minimum for 20 crores. So these are our recommendation. We all know that whenever we sit with an insurance agent, it is very difficult to deal with them. So there are worse things in life than death. Have you ever spent an evening with an insurance salesman? He will talk something, and whenever he will come with a paper to be signed by you, that will be the bunch of papers in very small letters which nobody can read, and you sign that without reading, and later on you will be entrapped in a bigger problem, because whenever you will go for compensation settlement, then they will tell you and they will show you the different points which are there in the contract, and they will try to avoid paying the sum which they have to pay. Now, for insurance, we all know that how to take insurance, from where to take insurance. But if you, before taking insurance, indemnity insurance, we must know a few things to be kept in mind. See, one word is AOA, that is any one accident, and another word is AOY, that is any 1 year. So suppose you are taking indemnity insurance for 1 crore rupees, but if you are taking in the ratio of 1:4, that is the ratio of any one accident with any 1 year, that means in one case you are indemnified only up to 25 lakhs rupees. So we always tell that whenever you take insurance, indemnity insurance, always take in ratio 1:1. So AOA to AOY ratio should be 1:1. That means even if a single case will be filed against you, then you will be covered for 1 crore rupees in that case. Or if there are multiple cases, then at least up to 1 crore rupees for 1 year, you are indemnified. So that is important to know. And there are different professions, and we all know that in all the profession, the maximum amount of AOA to AOY ratio, which is allowed, is 1:4. But only medical people are given indemnity insurances in the ratio of 1:1. So we must take benefit of it. For taking 1:1 ratio, you may have to pay a little bit more premium, or maybe 400-500 more rupees you have to pay, but that will definitely help you. Another thing you should know is the retroactive date. Retroactive, we will discuss that what is the retroactive date in next slides. See, this is the ratio of AOA to AOY. Suppose you are 1:1, then 1 crore per year, and even in one accident they will cover for 1 crore. If you will take 1:2, then they will cover one accident up to 50 lakhs rupees. So that we must understand. So we should take indemnity for 1:1 ratio always. In the case of professional indemnity policy issued to engineers, architect and all, they only are restricted to 25%. That means maximum 1:4. But medical professionals are given this kind of liberty. What is retroactive date? The date on which your cover starts. Suppose you are changing your insurance, indemnity insurance company, then you must keep in mind that with whomsoever you are attaching yourself, you should demand that my retroactive date should remain same. So, for example, whenever we buy a vehicle, we insure that vehicle with one insurance company, and we can carry on that insurance. Even if you change the company, you can demand that another company to put that retroactive date from the date of previous insurance company. So even you can shift your insurance in case of vehicle to your new vehicle to get the non-claim bonus. So that kind of things are available. So whenever you are changing the policy to different company, then you should demand from that company that you should not change my retroactive date. Only then I will take insurance from your company. Whenever, beware that there should not be any gap in retroactive date. The reason is because we don't know. We have never been taught by the insurance company that their insurance is event based or claim based. So suppose you are insured with a company in between 2017 to 19, and after 19 you have left that company. The thing which happened with Sharda madam, and suppose the insurance, this claim will arise in 2021, that company will say that you are not insured with us now, although the incident was of 2018 when you were insured. But even then they will refuse to pay. They will say that our insurance was event based, this claim based. So claim was not raised in 2017 to 19, so we will not pay. So we have to clarify that our insurance is whether it is a claim based or event based. So always take, it is better that event based means the day on which incidence has happened. If on that day you are covered, then that company is bound to cover you for that particular period. They cannot refuse for the claim of that period. So we have to, most of the group insurances are claim based and they are not event based. The reason is because as soon as you will leave that company, after that, that company will be free from your liabilities and they will say no to you for each and every claim. That is claim based. And we have to assure ourselves that what kind of insurance you are taking before confirming your indemnity insurance. What policies cover? We all know that they cover liability falling on them as a result of error and omission committed by them while rendering the professional services. They can give you the lawyer's expenses. Suppose our Foxy policy, they are also giving us a few amount to fight our criminal case. So lawyer's fee, they pay. But what they say that if you will win the criminal case, only then we will pay you the lawyer's fee. Otherwise, we won't pay you lawyer's fee in criminal case. So the all different kinds of conditions are being put by different companies. we must know the list that what these people do not cover. So whenever you take policy, always read a column which is mentioned as an exclusion column, that what is included and what is not included. So many things which are written are not included. That liability arising out of criminal act, they are not included. If you receive any notice from PCPNDT authority or cases filed against you under Biomedical Waste Act, cases filed in State Medical Council or National Medical Councils, cases filed against you under Human Right and Women Right Commission, these all are not taken care of by indemnity insurance company. They will only take care of your consumer cases or civil cases, and maximum they can pay you the lawyer's fee for criminal cases or a fixed amount to fight your case, criminal case in the criminal code. So somebody may give you 20,000 rupees or 30,000 rupees, but we all know that criminal lawyers are charging in lakhs. So this amount is never enough to fight criminal cases. Sir, if you have rendered services under the effect of narcotic substance, so if you have taken alcohol and operated on patient and something happens, that insurance company will not cover that award. Dental treatment, if anesthesia is given on dental chair, where the facility of anesthesia or the hospital is not available. The use of drugs of weight reduction. See, these are multiple things. I am not going into detail what these policies do not cover. So we, before taking indemnity insurances, we must know that what it covers and what it does not cover. See, in many insurance companies, it is said that if you will not follow the statutory guidelines given by the government in your hospital, then we will not cover you. Now, what does it mean? So it means it is a danger thing. That suppose you are supposed to register yourself under some act, suppose in Biomedical Waste Act, and you forgot to renew your Biomedical Waste Act license. So if you have not registered, if you have not followed all statutory guidelines of government under different act, they may refuse to pay. Same like nowadays, these insurances, insurance of vehicle insurance, they are denying for payment if you have not, your vehicle is not licensed for pollution control. So you have to put the sticker of pollution control on your vehicle. If it is not there, and if you forget to take this pollution control license, then they will refuse to pay compensation in case of even accident, although they have no relation with each other. But still, these kind of laws are there. So they will not cover your unqualified staff also. Many insurances don't cover. So whenever, if you want to cover your unqualified staffs also, then you have to mention it clearly in your insurance, this indemnity insurance form, that if you staff members are unqualified and they are also supposed to be covered for their negligence. So basically, these are all the things which are not covered. I am not going into much detail. So we must know what insurance company covers and what insurance company does not cover. We must apply our mind. We must read while taking insurance that what are the exclusions, and we should discuss those exclusions with the insurance company. If they deny to remove a few things which are not acceptable to us, please don't take insurance from that particular company. There are government companies, 4 main government companies: Oriental Insurance Company, New India Insurance Company, General Insurance, and United Commercial. A few private insurances are also coming up now. We all know that Foxy has done the tie-up with ICICI Lombard, and there are Bajaj Alliance, ICICI Lombard. So such kind of different private insurance company have also come into market, and they also negotiate in a manner. But it is always many indemnity insurance companies which are giving services for years, for example, Dockland or Apex or somebody else. So these are not having their own insurance companies, but they have tie-up with different insurance company. And by adding their few services, they take their additional charges. So this all is happening. And we all know that many of the owners of such companies are non-medico. They are not having any kind of knowledge. They are hiring very low quality advocates because they had to pay very low charges to them. And if your cases are represented by that kind of lawyer, so basically what we are suggesting that whenever you take insurance, indemnity insurance, plus first see that who is running that insurance company, who all are involved, what kind of services they are ready to give you, and whether they are approachable or not. So all these things should be seen. So many associations having tie-up with insurance company by negotiating the terms in group, like AMC in Mumbai. So they have taken in group. So what they do, they take insurance of 1,000 doctors, they take premium from them, and they pay the premium of only 500 doctors to insurance company, because they are not giving the names of the doctor to them. So they are earning through these different insurance policies. So basically these are the different tactics, business tactics. So we should not fall into this, but definitely if we are taking group insurances or doctors are taking group insurances by making a team, then you will definitely be benefited because you can negotiate with the company to give a few extra benefits to your members. For example, out-of-court settlement is allowed in Foxy Insurance and in AMC Insurance if one committee which is there opine in your favor. So many medical associations, even in Ahmedabad Medical Association, we have professional protection scheme in Gujarat, and we run that. So doctors only run that scheme. But the problem in all is that we should know that what kinds of things they are covering and what kind of things they are not covering. Definitely there is benefit of group insurance because you can have negotiations with the company. Rejection is less because they are having group insurance. Good lawyers can be appointed on panel if you have good in number. Outside court settlement can be negotiated with the company. Lapse will be condoned. So in many cases, they say that we will cover your pre-existing cases also. That kind of settlement is also done by different insurance company. Premium can definitely be reduced. We all know the MLAG or other associations which are giving group insurances to doctors. They are taking very less premium. Rather, approximately even a little 60% premium they are taking from doctors and they are covering them. Somebody may negotiate with the company for providing help in criminal cases. So these all things can be negotiated in group insurance. But dear friends, you all must know that whatever the insurance company, indemnity insurance company it is, but nobody will cover all these. They will never cover medical council complaints, human rights commission complaints. They never come to answer the notices you have received from these fora. PCPNDT cases in under ICMR or ART cases, they are not going to cover all these cases. So Clinical Establishment Act, if case is filed against you at CMO office, they are not going to protect you. So basically, we have to gather, and today the situation of doctor is like this. Thank God that hold is not on my end. So I feel this picture is a reflection of the mindset of our professionals. Sooner or later, we will all sink if we will not unite and take decisive remedies. We all know that the person who is having medical knowledge, legal knowledge, you can get all those, but you may not get benefit of their knowledge if your case is not properly represented in the court of law. And if you want to save yourself, we always tell that unity is the strength. So you have to unite, you have to take services of a well-qualified person who can represent your case in a proper manner and only that will help you in the court of law. Whenever there are more choices, there is more confusion. And that's why we always suggest that we must first identify that where is the problem, and then we should deal with it. There are enemies amongst us. We all know that 40% litigations are against doctor are due to doctors only. So seniors now do not come to help juniors because they have fear in mind that they will be called in the court of law, and if they will give expert opinion, they may be asked to come to court, and sometimes they avoid giving such kinds of help to the juniors. So we always tell that every profession has black sheep, and there are a few black sheep in our community also, and that black sheep may harm sometimes the whole community. And this is the example that one black sheep harmed whole fraternity members. So you have to be safe yourself, you have to unite, and you have to get yourself indemnified. What is the need of medical legal persons nowadays? Because see, the lawyer knows the law perfectly. The medical person knows the medical thing, everything in a perfect manner. But the medical person cannot explain everything to lawyer, and lawyer may not understand the medical language which doctor is speaking. And to bridge this problem, there is a man of that is known as medical legal person. So see, this is the example. This lady is a doctor. Now she is trying to communicate something to the lawyer, okay, by showing a sign. Okay. Now this doctor wants help of lawyer and see what lawyer does. So this is the problem with a lawyer. So they don't understand the language of doctors, and that's why they create problems sometime in the court of law. So basically, medical legal person, it is a person who converts legal language into medical and medical language into a legal. Nobody provides you preventive advice. Okay. Now, what is preventive advice? I will like to quote always that whenever any doctor contact us for medical or legal help or medical legal help, they are always late. Because suppose some accident has happened today, they will approach us through somebody after 2 days or 3 days. And in those 2-3 days, they have to already submit the papers or documents of that patient to either police or hand over the documents to the patient or the relatives. So that means documents are already been made and handed over to the other party. And dear friends, we all know that document is the only weapon which can save you. So even if you have done the perfect treatment, but if your documentation is not proper, then you will not be able to stay in the court of law. And on the other aspect, if your document is perfect, then definitely you can be saved even if you have not done proper treatment to the patient. So basically, the courts are not the courts of justice. They are court of evidences. And evidences in your hand is nothing but the documents. And only document can save you. And that's why we always tell that preventive services are always better. Because in taking preventive services, the person who is giving you preventive service will guide you in day to day that how to keep documentation in a proper manner, how to take consent, what kind of different consent should be taken, what are procedure specific consent, how to take the consent, when to take consent, who should sign the consent, who should sign the documentation, what should be the chronology of documentation. You all know, you must be knowing that recently a case is decided by Punjab State Commission where it is said that although doctor is not negligent in treatment, but it seems from the case paper, which is not in chronology, that doctor has not given proper treatment to the patient. So not putting papers in chronology is also considered as a deficiency in service, and in that case 35 lakhs rupees compensation was granted against that doctor. Recent case. So dear friends, how to make document, no insurance company is going to teach you. every indemnity insurance company will come into picture once you will receive the notice. So on apprehension of case filed against you, so suppose you are treating one patient and some complication or mishap happens in your hospital, then immediately you have apprehension in your mind that this patient or the relative are definitely going to sue me in some court, whether it is criminal court or whether it is civil court or in consumer court. And at that particular time, it is desired that you should make your documents in a perfect manner, and that will save you, because once you will hand over the documents, and if you will have to produce the same documents in the court of law later on, that documents if are lacking, then nobody, even the best lawyer, cannot save you in the court of law. So basically it is important that you should get some services of preventive medical legal aspect. So if you can prevent the litigation, that is the best thing. And for preventing litigation, the person who is easily approachable, who has knowledge of gynecology and particularly obstetrics in our case, in our field, or medical science as well as legal knowledge, both knowledge who is having, will be the best person to guide you to protect yourself in future. So nobody covers PCP&AT, biomedical waste. We have discussed these things. So basically, whenever something happens, we know we can take help of our seniors from the medical field. We can take help of legal person because they know what should be done in which case, in which court. So court procedures they better know. And last but not least, we always say that medical legal person definitely can change the vision and change the version of your case. And it is always advisable to take medical legal help so that you can be better represented by the lawyer. So whatever you want to convey to your lawyer, that can be better conveyed to the lawyer in a better language by a medical legal person. So it is a teamwork, involve medical person, senior person, medical legal person as well as legal person to protect yourself. The question is that whenever you want to involve medical legal expert in your case, is this insurance enough? Most of the insurance companies don't allow to take medical legal advice. If you private insurance or group insurance companies have now started giving you the liberty to appoint medical legal person as your advisor, but with restriction of payment. So they will always pay a few penny for the medical legal services, and which is not enough. Will you be tension free? The answer is no, because the insurance company will come into picture once you will receive notice or once a case is filed against you, and after that they will come into picture, and till then everything is over. After that they cannot be able to change anything in the document. So basically your case will definitely be weak in the court of law if you have not taken proper preventive medical legal services. Will you be bothered about your own defense? The answer is that most of the advocates are careless in representing your case in the court of law. Sometimes they don't appear on dates. Sometimes they don't put your evidences which you have provided to them in the court of law. Sometimes they do not even put your documents in the court of law. The reason better they better know. So you have to keep an eye on the advocate whenever case is filed against you. And it is always advisable sometimes to remain present in the court of law to represent yourself or to see that what advocate is doing in the court of law in your case. And you should keep an eye on your case. You should always keep in mind that what is the date, next date, and what is the particular stage where the case is. So you must know all these things in your case, and you must be careful in that. So basically, we all know that legal person can provide legal cases, case reference, but the medical case references, medical what I can say evidences he will also depend upon you. So no lawyer will provide you medical references. So if you will take preventive medical legal services or legal services from a medical legal person, he will always be able to provide you a good medical references from different textbooks, from different journals, and from he can definitely guide you that how to protect yourself. So basically, I am not doing any comparison with lawyer and medical person. We all know that medical person have best medical knowledge, the legal person has best legal knowledge, but medical legal person acts as a bridge in between medical person and legal person. And whenever you will like to take preventive medical legal services, I can assure you that you can feel yourself happy and safe in taking preventive medical legal services. Whenever there is doubt in your mind, whenever there is question in your mind during day-to-day practice, you can definitely call the person and ask, and you will definitely get answer immediately, even on phone, that what should be done in a particular circumstances and what should not be done. So dear friends, you need someone to save you from getting into trouble. And is there any product which gives you all these services along with indemnity cover? We all know that we are insured with different insurance company. So there are three ways. That first, that madam already has said that three things should be kept in mind. That first, you must indemnify yourself. Without indemnity insurance, you should not practice. Second, you should take enough indemnity cover. And third thing, that with indemnity, it is always advisable to take immunity services, that is preventive medical legal services, from some company who is near to you or who is easily approachable. So definitely it will inject into you the confidence for doing the practice, and you will be safe in their hand, because the medical legal person knows that how to save doctors. See, this person is a medical legal person and he is saving doctor from the hands of consumer. So how to save doctor is an art, and that only medical legal person can better know, and he is always in a good position to save doctors. The first slide was that doctor was with difficulty crossing the road. Now here is another doctor who has no knowledge of medical legal field, medical legal consequences, and he was having fear in his mind how to do practice. And here comes the medical legal practitioner to help that doctor and to help him during his practice and to cross the difficult road of day-to-day practice. So dear friends, whenever anything happens, I will be just around you. Most of the doctors who are taking lectures used to speak that please keep my card below your pillow. I never say that. I always say that please keep my me in your heart and have sweet dream. Hope I am not confusing you much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gitendra, for that mesmerizing presentation. I think the hall was completely full and we learned a lot. I would, before questions are put in the chat box, I want to start the discussants. I would welcome the discussants to first introduce themselves, discuss their experience or their brush with the medical legal world. If there was an event, please discuss it, and what is the learning experience you would like to share with all of us. I start with Madam Sharda Jain. Madam Sharda Jain, please let us know.
Alina, for giving me this opportunity. I think Dr. Gitendra talked.
Madam, your voice is not coming properly. So first of all, I will like to congratulate Madam that today we are crossed 100.
Yes.
So 100 is the limit.
Not many people are waiting to hear you, but I think this is not the the end of things. I think a couple of meetings ago, everybody's crystal clear. And everybody,
Ma'am, can't hear you.
मैडम वॉइस नहीं आ रही है आपकी अच्छे से, कुछ सेटलमेंट करिए ऑडियो में, गूंज रही है आवाज मैडम। नहीं नहीं नहीं, नहीं आ रही।
hello, you still can't hear me?
मैडम आवाज आ रही है पर इकोज आ रही हैं बहुत सारी।
So what you should do is let Leena, somebody else speak, and I will get on the phone and then I will talk.
Yes, madam. Yes. I go on to the next discussion while we wait
मैडम
for
लॉग आउट होके
madam.
लॉग इन हो जाइए तो हो जाएगा।
Dr. Raj Bukaria. Dr. Raj, can you speak up,
Yeah,
please?
Yeah, I will definitely speak. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
madam.
madam.
4 minutes.
So first of all, I thank Dr. Leena and the DGF PGD MLS to give me this opportunity to share my experience. I can just say that though I'm practicing in the last 35 years in the two corporate big hospital, Fortis Lafayette, and I started my career in Mulchand Hospital also, and the case belongs to that hospital only. Now I'm working in Fortis and Max Patparganj. My journey of suffering on the litigation is going on in the last 15 years. And that was only, I can say, it was as a result of lack of the medical legal knowledge. And after this case, I have understood the importance of documentation, the consent and communication. What I can say, ki your paper should be very perfect. And the first reply has its all important, is very, very important. Most of the time, see, my case was that I delivered a gynecologist, a junior of my hospital, who was working afterwards in some other government hospital, and whom I did a preterm induction at 28 weeks due to some basic reason of fetal abnormality reported on ultrasound, chromosome analysis done, which also reported some chromosomal abnormality, and her asthma was aggravated. So her main induction, reason for induction of preterm labor was because of her asthma problem. So whatever she underwent into the induction of labor and had a preterm delivery, but where the pediatrician was also called for, but due to some reason she had retained placenta, and then she had to be shifted for the placental removal under anesthesia, where the anesthetist had given some injection, and according to them, they have not given any general anesthesia, because by the time I was getting ready for the getting into the OT for the manual removal. So whatever she had aspiration syndrome, and in spite of all the effort with multidisciplinary approach, she expired even after ventilation and tracheostomy. She expired next day. So the allegation on me was the illegal MTP. I have done it at 28 weeks. And I can share with my experience with the documentation. There was lack of documentation and the lack of the medical knowledge, which has led me into the trouble. In spite of my other colleagues who wanted to really help me, but being a medical person, he also had not the complete medical legal knowledge, and whatever the reply we have prepared through his help was not proper. And that's why I'm going through all the suffering. Now, regarding your seniors and your own colleagues, they never come forward, except I can say few personality like Ma'am Shata, who is always supported me and is always with me. I don't want to say much because everyone knows how good she is. Now, the third I want to say is regarding the advocates. They don't have the medical legal knowledge at all, and only the legal knowledge. Each word of the medical word you have to explain to them in the simple language, and you have to give the references, you have to prepare all your cases related to your references in your case. Now, they don't, even a lay person knows, but your advocate doesn't know, in my case, what is the difference between the MTP and the preterm induction of labor. Why the pediatrician are called always in the delivery case, in which my case the person is giving the summon to the pediatrician also. So knowingly very well that this was a delivery case, but they didn't know what is the difference in MTP, and the pediatrician are never called in the MTP. Second thing, the advocate, they keep on extending the date. Both the side, the advocates, they are very true friends. And because every hearing they get some amount of the money which you have to set from your hard-earned money. The third thing, you have to be present always in your hearing day in the court, because half the time, as said, rightly said by the Dr. Giten, they don't appear in the court and you become unaware totally about what is going on and happening in the court, except you come to when you ask the advocate, yes, your date is extended for the this date. So in spite of that, what I can say, I had a lot of suffering. My case had gone to all the forum, all the this thing, DMC and MCI and whatever in the NCRDC and all these. But what, in short, I want to conclude with my own experience, your medical knowledge is, medical legal knowledge is must for each and every doctor, whether they are practicing obstetric or any other field. Second, you have to prepare and you have to be very careful in seeing your documents, your consent, preparing the discharge summary, which should be always signed by you, so that, and it should include your follow-up advice also. The third thing, your lawyers are not the friend. You should need and prepare your case by a medical legal expert only. And advocates should be the knowledgeable about the medical. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Raj. I request Dr. Shada Jain ma'am to
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Yes. I think, I'm in practice after working in the medical colleges for 2 years, for 20 years, now in practice for 30 years. And I think single day, no private practitioner can practice without indemnity insurance. So that particular part should be very clear to everybody. We started with 5 lakhs and it went to 20 lakhs, and now we are insured for 1 crore. And this is minimum we must get our insurance done. So there is no doubt in anybody's mind that, if you're practicing not a single day, you should practice without indemnity insurance. The second is, if I have a problem, which lawyer I should take? My bad experience over 30 years, when I had 5 litigations against me, I find, to find a lawyer, a committed lawyer, is very, very difficult. All cases have gone, and I still find there are 2 cases are still pending. And, let's see what happens. I have learned it very hard way that, even if you're in the dream, you have to decide about it, which lawyer to take. Anybody who's listening me, if you're a doctor yourself, you should take the lawyer concerned is Gitendra and Hitesh team. I think you will be much, much better off, because they can prepare your papers in such a way that, it can see you through. They have not lost a single case so far. And my only request is that they have to come and tie up with the local lawyer. Sometimes the papers are produced wonderfully by Dr. Gitendra, but the local lawyers definitely create problems. There are a couple of examples. Pratibha and all are going to speak about that kind of thing, that, local lawyers are must. Thirdly is, I had never heard about something like preventive medical legal insurance. And this is the development in the last 6 months. That, once we have been doing a PGD courses for gynecologists and the other doctors, this preventive insurance came, because 365 days, we are not at peace. If you want to sleep peacefully, then we must hire a preventive medical legal insurance. For that, we have been trying to work out with things. Dr. Gitendra has already highlighted that I had taken Apex for 9 years continuously. And I had, at that particular time, I had 2 cases. And when I approached these people for lawyers, they said big no. And they said, you are not anymore, you are not taking insurance from us, we will not give you any cover. And I didn't want to get into litigation with them. So I said, okay, if you can't give me cover, don't do it. We'll manage. But this is hard way. They cannot do it. Dr. Gitendra says you can fight with them, but I think, who has the time to fight litigations with petty things like this when you can have it? Now, these insurance companies charge you a amount, say 15,000 or 20,000 over and above what you give an insurance for a crore of rupee. Now, all their salary, all their staff salary, all the rental of the premises is all by you people. And they don't offer you any services. So I think, what we have worked out with the Dr. Gitendra is that if we give him 200 doctors preventive indemnity insurance, we have to shell out 10,000 rupees. 365 days, we can get onto them. They are just phone call away, doctor. This is the problem I'm having. I'm smelling a rat. They can come with the litigations to me. What should I do? The documentation, whether the police wants or whether anybody wants, whether it goes on the record and goes to the record section, it has to be corrected before all things are done. And then, unless you take a timely advice from these medical legal experts, you will not be able to do it. एक बार आपके हाथ से पेपर गए, खत्म हो गया आपको बात. So one thing is my request with the folded hands, everybody who's a busy practitioner. I always say litigation will only come people if you are working well. कोई आदमी को परफोरेशन यूट्रस नहीं हो सकता. अगर आपने कभी डीएनसी करी नहीं तो परफोरेशन यूट्रस कैसे होगा? अगर आपने केसेस करे ही नहीं तभी लिटिगेशंस आएगी. आपको केसेस करे होंगे तभी लिटिगेशंस आएगी. So I feel that all of you should take preventive insurance by paying 10,000 rupees, and I think this you can really sleep peacefully. And I will request and see to it that the license between the local lawyers and the Dr. Gitendra and company is there, at least in the city of Delhi and NCR. And I think it will definitely do good. Your attitude and appreciation definitely works. The people who are positive minded will grab the opportunity. And the people who are negative minded will always keep on finding problems. So this is with these words I feel is that, things should be sorted out by you. Indemnity insurance, yes. Everybody can be caught. It will take me a 1-hour lecture to say who are the residents involved, who are the senior residents involved, who are the government people who are involved. My long association for 20 years in Delhi Medical Council and now with the National Medical Council says that nobody is spared. The government officers, the senior residents, the residents, everybody is at risk. And with these remarks, I think I will give the chance to the other people. Thank you very much, Dr. Leena.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's a real powerful message. And I think, both aspects, especially of preventive medical legal insurance, is being understood by everyone on this platform. I now request Dr. Pratibha Singhal to please speak up. Dr. Pratibha? We crossed 100. Actually, people were finding it difficult to, come on the platform itself.
All are flooded that, they can't get inside. So we will soon have another one.
Dr. Pratibha, are you there? Okay. We'll move on to the next. Dr. Shivani. Dr. Shivani Gaur.
Unmute yourself.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I have a very short video of few seconds. One of our surrogacy cases, we had a problem and it was on TV in Australia, unfortunately. So if you can allow screen sharing to me, I can just post a short clip from there. Dr. Gitendra Sharma is just doing it for me. So this was a woman who had hysterectomy done because she had endometrial CA. And after that, she had surrogacy with us. And
excuse me, Malti madam, can you make Shivani madam co-host so that she can share? Malti madam?
Okay, so we had so the woman did surrogacy with us and this couple, and then they had twins. twins born. Now, during the surrogacy, the husband and wife had a fight. So they separated, but he went off with another woman. And he refused to give his DNA test because it was egg donor and husband's sperm. So without his DNA test, the children would be abandoned because they cannot take the baby back home. He claimed on national television in Australia that he had changed his mind and he had done the embryo transfer even though he had changed his mind. Now, there was a contract which he had signed before the embryo transfer. So we showed the contract and his wife did the whole TV thing. So his wife went on TV and said, this man, my husband, he's telling lies. He signed the contract. He did the treatment. In between, he fell in love with somebody else. Now he's refusing to do the DNA test and the children will be abandoned without it. And the only single case where I had the major problem was this one, because they were born preterm and one of the babies needed an air ambulance to take back because she didn't want to stay in India. So first time in my life, I'm finding out about air ambulance where this man is even refusing to do a DNA test. So the embassy compelled him. He had to do a DNA test. It was proven. And then the babies went back to Australia and now they are on my Facebook feed. I'm seeing them growing up into wonderful little girls.
ये शिवानी मैडम को आप होस्ट बना दीजिए.
So, what I want to say is that documentation is the only thing that is going to save you. And I myself see that every day in practice, you are seeing 30, 40 patients and how much documentation can you do? So, the number 2 people are Dr. Geetendra Sharma, Dr. Hitesh, and the greatest person, I think, Dr. Shada Jain ma'am. I mean, surrogacy is such a topic where we have so many problems, I cannot even describe. So every time issues keep coming up. So what you need is, at least for me in my practice, I feel documentation has to be so solid. And we really remember for a lifetime people who help you in trouble. And for that reason, Dr. Geetendra and Sharda Jain ma'am, you know, for lifetime, you are in my heart. Thank you.
Madam, you can share your slides now.
Okay.
Co-host.
1 minute. Let me open the video. So, I don't know if the audio is coming or not. This is the man.
It is coming.
No, audio is not there.
No, audio is not there.
Not able to hear.
Okay. So this father decided he doesn't want to be a father and he refused to do the DNA test. And this is the media person who's chasing him. And this is the lady who is the mother. Her name is Kylie. And she's with the twins. He just said, go away. I'm not going to do any tests. And I have changed my mind. I have not even given permission for the embryo transfer. And this is the second clip, which I'll just share just now. See, yes, before the implant was done, I changed my mind. I did not. And this was the signature on the consent form that we had. And because of this was the only thing that saved us. And because of this, we were able to solve this problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shivani. That was really an eye-opener for all of us. The documentation, that's the only thing that can save us. I now move on to Dr. Sonal Batla. Dr. Sonal? Please.
Yes, I'm there. I'm Dr. Sonal. I'm a consultant gynecologist at San Paramanand Hospital. One of our team's patient lost life because of amniotic fluid embolism post-delivery. And this is how I entered the medical legal world. Now, I'm thankful to you, Dr. Leena and Dr. Sharda Jain, for giving me an opportunity to be here. I must share my experiences so that everybody learns from it, because we all are going to face such experiences sooner or later. See, whenever you get a notice from any institution, you must go through the file thoroughly, because once the party takes the photocopy of that file, you will never be able to edit it. Secondly, frame the reply yourself with the help of some medical legal expert. Write your references in detail. You must study, because you are the best person to write your case. And never rely on any lawyer or even the medical superintendent of the hospital to write the case for you. Now, inform your indemnity as soon as you get into some trouble. You must inform them, and you must have somebody in your hand from the indemnity whom you know personally. You must develop some personal association with the indemnity person. Take a cover of at least 50 lakhs for indemnity. Now, I didn't know that I had taken a risk management cover too, and that really helped me. Because once you take a risk management cover, they help you frame the reply. And secondly, whichever lawyer you want, they pay for that lawyer. See, this aspect I didn't know, but I never had to pay even a single penny to the lawyer, though the lawyer was of my choice. So always take indemnity plus risk management. And you must go for every sitting personally, and take opinions of your seniors and colleagues. I must say that I took opinion from Dr. Sharda Jain, Dr. Raj Bukaria. They were ever so helpful, and your colleagues won't stand with you. But I think some of your seniors are really helpful, and you must look up to them and must take help from them. That's all, I think.
Well said in a nutshell. Thank you, Dr. Sonal. I now move on to the next person, Dr. Nisha Jain. Dr. Nisha, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Dr. Leena, thank you. But I'm the person who has been going through litigation all my practicing life. It started in 1990. So I will not.
That's a correct statement for most of us. People just hide it. This is the correct statement.
So first was I was called in a nursing home by a colleague who was there in a hospital with me. They were out of station to deliver a baby. I delivered the baby. It was in December or so. I told the staff, keep the room very warm and then only shift the patient. So they forgot to shift the patient. The baby had amputation of his right thumb later on. So this case at that time, this United India used to do insurance and there were no lawyers provided. By chance, my father retired and he was a lawyer, and my grandfather also. My father fought the case and we won it. And the thing was documentation. Documentation was right. The second case was, I was called for evidence in a case of, in a rape case where she said MTP was done, boyfriend left her and also. And in my place, she came with post-pill DNC, which I did. At that time, we never used to make files for these patients. We used to just have a consent form with us and nothing else because it was not an MTP. And on that consent form, a staff has written MTP, which we were very careless. We didn't look into it because it was in early ages when this MTP laws and all the things were not so severe. Only after my case, all these MTP laws and everything has become very relevant and people are very aware of it. And that judge was Mrs. Kamini Lau. And she doesn't like doctors. I think she writes in front of her, Dr. Kamini Lau. And there she made me party to the crime. Even after submitting the documentation of her ultrasound report, missed abortion 5+ weeks kind of a thing, she didn't go with it. All the machines were seized, CPU was seized, everything was seized from the hospital and to different agencies, CBI and everything, it was sent. And I finally had to go to the High Court. And in the High Court, the lawyer, the senior lawyer, as everybody said, won't come. And we would keep on calling, please come, our case has come, and all these things. This drama I've gone through. And then finally, the important thing I learned, as I went there as an evidence. So there is a law. in Indian Penal Code that if you call anybody for evidence, you can never frame them for anything, even if they say against themselves. And that law, all these lawyers either didn't know or they didn't tell me. So finally, in just one single date later on, I was freed from the High Court. Then this was another case where I did a TLH in a patient who came to my OPD, fainted, pouring blood with submucous fibroid and all. And afterwards, like she said she was diabetic, not taking medicine, but all her pre-op reports were normal. Later on, this patient developed something, low BP and low pulse rate, both the things. Shifted in ICU, all the specialties saw this patient. Later on, she expired and autopsy was done. Autopsy was in our favor, but still this fellow, the husband, was in this bureau, intelligence bureau before this. So this fellow harassed me to whatever level even you can't think. He, on the basis of RTI, like this case, at that time, my indemnity was with Secure Now. They gave me a lawyer and lawyer threatened me and expect money from me. That's okay. That was fine. But later on, when I told them, they said, don't pay to the lawyer. And after this, like the case was in 2018, then I shifted to Apex. In 2021, January, this fellow files a case in High Court saying that my degrees are fake, that FOXY certification I'm a FOXY certified laparoscopic trainer, that FOXY certification is wrong, that FOXY certification of laparoscopy training is not recognized by MCI, by then and now is NMC, and all that bullshit and all my degrees are fake. So I got everything authenticated, and then in the court of law, basically you have to prepare your case. And when there was a hearing in High Court, my lawyer just said few things, and the whole case I fought myself. And we think that in High Court we cannot speak. We can speak. Nobody can reject this. Even in my previous case, I spoke myself. Only then this was resolved. And in this case, because when you know in and out of your case, you know the law. You keep on upgrading yourself, and you know the law. And I defended my case and I won this case. In a nutshell, whatever Dr. Sonal Batla said and whatever other people said, documentation. Like in this case, the documentation was absolutely good. And here are a few points. I would say the documentation is the prime thing. Whatever we do, immediately document. Because at the death of the patient, the daughter of this patient clicked all the file. The whole file, she immediately took photographs. So nothing could be documented any further, whatever was done. But the second thing is consent. Consent has to be proper. That is very important. And the third thing is that if there is any event which is happening in the OT, if there is the DOT, all the files which anesthetist has used should be saved, either given to the police custody or whatever, with all the documentation. That will save you. In case of DOT or any death, always ask for autopsy. Many times the attendants refuse for autopsy. Take the documentation in writing that they have reduced autopsy. That will save you. Because in two other cases, I had to go to DMC, and that's what saved me. And the other thing is, if there is any event, say you have a fetal distress, attendants are refusing to give any consent, take a negative consent. They are not giving negative consent. Ask your resident, ask your staff, ask any other patient's attendant to sign it. Document it, even if they are not signing. Document it in your file. So that is very important. Then, whenever there is a case, prepare it yourself. Nobody else can prepare. Of course, when we have Dr. Gitendra and that team, they can help us. But we have to do it ourselves. And whenever we are giving anything for, say, references, whatever reference we are giving, we have to go through the whole book, the whole chapter. At times, there was a case, Dr. Gitendra must be knowing, where they have given some reference. Few things were in their favor, and the few things in that reference only was against the case, and for which they lost this case. So we have to be very, very distinct in this case. And in this, my case, because this fellow had filed in all the forums and against my degree and against all those things, I lost myself. So I went to Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am, and she guided me how I filed my reply in NMC. So that gave me strength, and I filed my reply and I had a hearing, and I think the result would be coming soon. But yes, we need our seniors to guide us whenever we are in problem. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nisha. That was really, that's really inspiring. We're hearing from you. Lots of guts, and for all of us, of inspiration. And of course, we all have Dr. Sharda Jain, ma'am. And from everyone, I can hear that she's been the guiding force behind this entire program. Moving on, I request Dr. Vandana Gupta to share her experience.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
It's a small case, yet I felt harassed, so I could share. So there's this couple who came into the OPD as a case of delayed periods and PCOD. I handled her, and after 6 months, the couple walks in again. This time, delayed periods, I got an ultrasound done, and she was having early pregnancy. But I got a call from the ultrasound doctor, and he said the name that you've written on the prescription is not the same as in the Aadhaar card, because they tally with the Aadhaar card. So then I called her back, made another prescription with both names on it. Because I had already made a prescription, I wrote that in the corner and the name on the Aadhaar card, of the Aadhaar card. Then I gave her pills after taking due consent. And after that, the story was over for 4 years. 4 years later, I get a summons that there is a complaint against you that you have connived with the husband and aborted her pregnancy, and she wanted to continue. Actually, she was in a live-in relationship with this person who was already married. And therefore, because now he was not willing to marry her, so she had put this case, and I got involved because I had given her pills. I had to even go to the court, and luckily I had the consent form because I had smelled a rat because of those 2 names. So I had taken a signature on 2 consent forms. One which goes into the hospital and one I kept with myself. And therefore I was saved. Otherwise I could have been harassed that day. So that's the little experience I have, and I feel that we should be, when we are in trouble, we should be consulting a person with good medical knowledge and legal knowledge. Dr. Gitendra's reputation, integrity, we all know so well. You, ma'am, to gather, collect as many as possible so that we can take his help.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Dr. Vandana. Thank you very much. Moving on, we have Dr. Suman Bishnoi. Dr. Suman, would you like to say something? Are you there?
Hi. Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's always a delight to hear Dr. Gitendra Sharma speak every time on indemnity and everything. I am Dr. Suman from Gurgaon, and I'll be just introducing myself. I have served the government of Haryana for more than 20 years in different districts and in different capacities as medical officer, senior medical officer, deputy civil surgeon, and program officers like district family welfare, school health officer, etc., and medical superintendent, civil hospital, Gurgaon. And I took VRS on 31st July 2007 before I could be promoted as a civil surgeon because I wanted to be a clinician and not an officer. Since then, I am into practice and I am now attached to the various hospitals like Artemis, Cloud9, CK Birla as a visiting consultant. So I have seen both the worlds. I think God has been very kind to me, and as such, I have no experience, no personal experience or brush with any medical legal world. कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट के बारे में 2005 में सुना और इंडेमनिटी इंश्योरेंस के बारे में तब सुना जब कॉर्पोरेट हॉस्पिटल ने इंडेमनिटी इंश्योरेंस की कॉपी मांगी. But I want to discuss a case of my colleague from the Civil Hospital Gurgaon to make things slightly clear. So I have taken the details of the case from India Qanun website, and I will not name the doctor. He did a cesarean on in 27th November 2004, and the patient, I don't know why she was discharged after 10 days. Generally we discharge after 3 days, and after 3 days of the discharge she visited with pain abdomen and some urinary problems, for which antibiotics and painkillers were prescribed, but there was no relief, and patient kept on visiting her time and again. Every time her answer was, "आपको कुछ नहीं है, आप 2-3 महीने में ठीक हो जाओगी." Or April 11th, means almost after 4 months of the operation, just to get rid of the patient, she referred the patient to Safdarjung Hospital. But the patient did not go there. Instead, she went to a private gynecologist who advised her an ultrasound. and which reported a foreign body in the lower abdomen. And she was advised surgery, and the cost of the surgery was quoted as between 40,000 to 60,000. She visited another doctor, this time a surgeon, who also got an ultrasound done and was also advised surgery. On 16th August, I was in my office. I was a district school health medical officer, and she consulted me also. And I told her to get admitted for laparotomy. She came with the ultrasound report actually. So I told her to get admitted for laparotomy and proceed. But the patient was lost to follow up as I was transferred to ESI Hospital Faridabad for 6 months. In the meantime, she went to her hometown Bareilly and got it operated there. And after coming back from there, she filed a case in the District Consumer Forum. So after 6 months, when I was transferred back to Gurgaon, I found my colleague very sad and upset. On further probing, she told me that the patient had lodged a complaint with the District Consumer Forum and also to the government, for which a departmental inquiry is going on. I felt sorry for her that I could not do anything as far as the consumer case was concerned, but told her to make me a witness in the departmental inquiry. When the inquiry happened, I was also called along with the patient, and I asked the patient, जब मैंने आपको सर्जरी कराने की सलाह दी थी तो आप एडमिट क्यों नहीं हुए? Patient said, जी हम आए थे, हमें बताया गया कि आपके यहाँ से ट्रांसफर हो गई है. So the case went on in the consumer court, and on 23rd April 2008, means after 4 years, the doctor was held guilty for medical negligence. That was the res ipsa loquitur which we read, and she was fined 65,000 rupees. So the breakup was 50,000 as damages, 10,000 as the cost of surgery, and 5,000 as the cost of litigation. But against this order of the District Consumer Forum, the doctor appealed in the State Consumer Redressal Forum, taking the plea under the following points. Number one, she can't be held responsible under the CPA as she is a government servant, and the cesarean was done free. Second, there was no expert opinion taken on this case. And third, the doctor who operated was not called as witness. But in the State Redressal Forum, her appeal was dismissed on 26th October 2012, means she suffered for almost 8 years. It was quoted as, you are, number one, government servants not being covered under the CPA, you are paid salary by the government, and all government hospitals are run on public funding. So the operation was not done free. Second, for the expert opinion, it was a clear-cut case of medical negligence, and hence expert opinion was not needed. Third, there was no need to call the operating surgeon because the discharge slip from the hospital was enough, and the photo of the operation taking out the sponge were adequate proof. So that was all about the case, and she had to finally, I think, submit the amount. So Dr. Gitendra, my question to you is, if she had indemnity insurance, how would you have pleaded her case? And with such a negligence, how would you have saved her except paying for the amount? And I think you would have not let her go in appeal because the case was clear cut, and waste money as well as another 4 years in the State Consumer Forum. So my final message to all the audience is, medico-legal cases are on the rise, and so are the litigations. Obstetricians and gynecologists are extremely vulnerable. We are not immune. There are cases against both the private and the government doctors. Even resident doctors can be involved, and most important, the hospital along with the staff members working there should also be insured. So we should all opt for a minimum of at least 1 crore, the personal indemnity insurance for our practice. And while taking an indemnity insurance, we should know what all does it cover. We should also know about the retroactive dates and terms like any one incidence, any one year, etc., whether it is claim-based or event-based. And I think this is, in the end, I would like to say that I consider myself very lucky that I have attended this medical legal course organized by Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am under Delhi Gynae Forum with legal emissaries like Dr. Gitendra Sharma and Dr. Hitesh Bhatt. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Dr. Suman, you're absolutely right that we have all benefited by being part of this course. It has opened our eyes and made us so much aware of so many things that we were not aware of before.
Yeah.
Dr. Pratibha, are you there? Can you join in? Dr. Pratibha?
Take Shakuntala. Hello. Take Shakuntala.
Dr. Shakuntala?
Hi, good evening, everyone. So in my case by now, I think it has been highlighted very well everywhere in all the fora and in all the branches of Delhi Gynecologist Forum. But in my case, the allegation that was put in my case was that I had put the wrong expected date of delivery and the wrong, dates were put in. That was the first thing. Secondly, that I had induced the labor. I was given this allegation that I had induced the labor. This was a patient on which I had done one vaginal birth after cesarean section, first cesarean done elsewhere for an IUD, reasons not known. Second was VBAC done at my center. And third time she delivered after, she came to me in labor, and ultimately I had to resort to cesarean section because I had detected uterine dehiscence while we were giving her a trial. And the allegations that were put on me were that I had done induction of labor based on wrong dates. Now the problem is that the kind of allegation that the person had put me on was basically they sounded so frivolous and so baseless that I was overconfident. That is the first problem that I had, that I became overconfident on the whole thing, that the case is so baseless that immediately it will be dismissed. Second was that he had, though his, see how he framed his version was that the induction was done. The whole night the lady was crying for help and nobody came. Whereas every day the satisfaction record was signed by one day it was signed by the lady herself, and on rest of the days it was signed
Shakuntala, your connection weak.
I think we have lost.
Am I audible?
Now,
yes, now better.
Yeah.
Shakuntala, please brief, what message you want to give from your litigation. What should people do? What should people do?
Shakku, unmute yourself.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah. So lastly, what happened was that I got intimidated while representing my case in the Delhi Medical Council. The only word that was spoken to me was that you induced the patient. And that is where I just became absolutely silent and I could not proceed any further. I lost all my confidence. So these are the 2-3 things which led to the case. I lost the case in Delhi Medical Council. Thereafter, I sat down with my case and prepared it properly. Each and every line of my notes were dissected, and ultimately the case was prepared properly. And really, it is something which you require at that time, and that is the help from your seniors. And here came our Delhi Gynecologist Forum and Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am, who sat down and who kind of helped me out. So it is something which really helps you understand the legality of the case and the medical part of it. And the documentation was so proper that ultimately it was very clearly highlighted that the patient was not induced. The wrong dates had got nothing to do with the whole thing. And throughout the case, I was there with my patient, So ultimately, I won the case in MCI. But the only thing that I want to say here is, number one, our documentation, as every one of us has highlighted, our documentation should be complete. Number two, our legal experts who kind of fight on our behalf are, they will be saying the case is vehemently denied, the allegation is vehemently denied, but they will never put forth the reasons why they are denying the allegation. So they are not medical experts. And number three, we need help from our seniors, So now is the time for this preventive indemnity. When we are talking about preventive indemnity, it will help us prepare our documents properly. Whenever a legal notice is coming to me and I prepare my documents properly, then the other things become better. And probably at the very initial step, we might be able to stop then and there if our representation is good.
Correct. Dr. Shakuntala, that is preventive medical legal consultancy so that our documentation is right in the beginning will go a long way to prevent anything happening further.
Correct.
That's a
Correct.
good message. Dr. Archana Pathak, would you like to add? Dr. Archana?
Thank you, Dr. Leena. Thank you very much for inviting me on this platform. I think so many people have put forth their opinions. I think one must understand that we should not hesitate in consulting our seniors and our colleagues in times of emergency and situations like this. Because we always hesitate and we always think that, okay, naam badnaam ho jayega, and everybody will make fun of us. So I think very important is that we should not hesitate at all to consult our seniors and colleagues at the right time. And a proper preventive indemnity insurance goes a long way in preventing all these mishaps and in us losing such kind of cases. So, and documentation, as everybody said, is the foremost and the most important thing. And a qualified medical legal expert such as Dr. Gitendra and Dr. Hitesh would go a long way in, us dealing with these kind of problems. And Ma'am Sharda's course of medical legal, this thing has given us a platform to express our concerns and our, problems we can discuss under one roof. So I really thank Sharda and Ma'am to, start this course in our DGF. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Dr. Archana. Like in the Salman Khan case, one judge said guilty, the other judge said not guilty. Similarly, like that, what the interest that came into this medical legal forum with me was when I came to know that one of my colleagues in Bangalore was, sort of defended by the lawyer in a case of shoulder dystocia because he brought the dummy and the baby, model right in front of the judge because he said, "ये कैसे हो सकता है normal delivery में?" So he says, "आपको मैं बताता हूँ कैसे हो सकता है," and he showed all the maneuvers, and that gynecologist was acquitted. And here I came to know another doctor right here in Delhi was actually convicted for shoulder dystocia, had to pay compensation. So we realize that if you are defended properly with the proper documentation, with a good lawyer or who understands, the gray zones in medical science, especially in obstetrics and gynecology, then we can bring our case forward and we can succeed. With that, I request Dr. Shakuntala to propose a vote of thanks and a short summary and a take-home message for all of us on this forum.
I want to make a comment, Dr. Leena.
Doctor, I will make a comment.
Yes,
Dr.
madam.
Leena.
Okay.
Leena, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
See, what is now needed, there are a couple of questions which everybody wants. One thing is, we have to take an indemnity insurance. Anybody, whether you are working in private sector or a public sector, that goes without saying. And I think Dr. Gitendra can go on for 10 days, citing those examples. Secondly is that, one should not have any doubt which lawyer you should take. Thirdly is, we should all who have got a reasonable practice should go for a preventive medical legal insurance. So at least timely you can take help of the medical legal consultants like Dr. Gitendra and Hitesh. So at least you will not have problems. And here I wish to tell it, not only the gynecologist is very easy to consult Dr. Gitendra and Hitesh, but he is wonderful as far as the other specialties are also concerned. And I think this is what the need is, that whether the people like it or not, you ask every gynecologist, 85% have had multiple litigations. It is just, I don't know what tells them, but I've seen hundreds of them getting crazy, getting depressed, a lot of anxiety, their personality changes, whether it is Shivani Sabharwal, or whether it's Nisha Jain, whether it's Shakuntala, whether it's Dr. Raj Bukaria, whether it's Pratibha, everybody. They go through a phase of their life, they lose all interest in life and, they just want to retire and go to Himalayas and leave everything about it. But, you have to bring them back, and that kind of situation should really not happen. I forgot to mention about Sonal Bhatia, though she kept a very bright face, but nobody helps. Your colleagues, your boss, everybody just keeps you on the side and wo aapse hello bhi nahi karna chahte. You're outcast of that particular kind. So I think learning the lesson from all of us is that I have suffered, and I feel that one should go for preventive medical legal insurance. And this is what we feel about it. There are any questions anybody wants to ask Dr. Gitendra, he will be too happy to answer.
Just one comment I want to make, ma'am, here, that we all think that only lawyer can talk in the court and the lawyer will represent us properly. But here, with my experience, I've learned that lawyer may not represent you. You have a right, and we talk ourselves. We present our case ourselves much, much better than any lawyer can do. Like this pelvis and baby, you said, why the gynecologist herself did not show it? She could have. The court accepts it. If you go forward and say whatever you want to say, court listens to you. So that is what we forget when we go in the court. We should remember it.
डॉक्टर मेरा एक कोर्ट केस फंसा पड़ा हुआ है वो मेडिकल जेंटल ट्यूबरकुलोसिस का मेरी लॉयर मेरे को आगे ही नहीं आने देती वो कहते मैडम पीछे बैठते रहो
मैडम हाई कोर्ट में जब मैं थी ये कामनी लॉ वाले केस में
हाई कोर्ट वाले डिफरेंट है डॉक्टर और जगह की बात है एनीवे लेट्स नॉट डिविएट फ्रॉम थिंग्स यस वी कैन रिप्रेजेंट बट आई थिंक आवर फोकस इज ऑन which indemnity insurance we should take. He has highlighted you everything. And lawyer हमारे को जब केस आ जाएगा उसमें भी हमारे को कोई problem नहीं. Now we know which lawyer to take. But thirdly is what we require is whether should we take a preventive insurance or not. And I think, there has been enough discussion and all the people who have suffered themselves are, whether are you in a strong pleading for on that particular issue or not. हमको लेनी चाहिए preventive insurance की नहीं लेनी चाहिए.
मैडम एटलीस्ट जो लोग बिगिनर्स हैं उनको बहुत जरूरी है लेना जिनको बिल्कुल लीगल नॉलेज नहीं है हम तो पक गए अब कोर्ट में जा जाके बात भी सफेद हो गए अकल भी ठिकाने लग गई हमारी लेकिन all those who are less than 30 years of practice should take it.
Now, another aspect is that if the insurance company is willing to pay to the preventive insurance people also.
They don't.
We should consider that aspect also.
So let me be very frank with you. Whether it is Raj Bukaria, whether it is Pratibha Singhal, whether it is me, we have never got a single NP. I don't know from where you people got the money because probably your personal relation and things like that. हमको एक पैसा नहीं मिला हमने लाखों पैसे खर्च किए लॉयर्स के ऊपर
यस मैम आई एग्री
मैम एक कमेंट बताऊं डॉक्टर राज मैडम एक तो ये बात है कि प्रोफेशनल इंडेमनिटी जो है दे नेवर कम फॉरवर्ड एक्सेप्ट इन सोनल केस दैट इज व्हाट वी ऑल वंडर सेकंड थिंग
मदद नहीं किया उन्होंने
नो सीनियर who will come forward for your help except you. Name me any doctor in Delhi, all over Delhi.
I can say one thing. When this Chakku's case was there in the newspaper, me, Ragini, and 4 of us, next day we were there at her place and we scrutinized her file. Look, we were there with her. It's not that we left her. It's the bonding, the friendship.
Let me be very frank with you. Shakuntala's case was discussed like a PhD discussion in all Delhi gynecologist forum. When I took a very strong stand, this must be stopped, Every doctor was a lawyer, commenting on this thing. And Shakuntala was, एक कोने में छुप के बैठ गई. You should have looked at her personality. So I think, we must get medical legally insured and we must take a preventive insurance. And that is why my advice is, that जब आपको परेशानी हो जाएगी उस टाइम कोई फायदा नहीं साइकियाट्रिस्ट के पास जाने के लिए और कहीं पर जाने के लिए प्रैक्टिस छोड़ने के लिए उससे अच्छा है आप प्रिवेंटिव इंश्योरेंस ले लो
डॉक्टर निशा डॉक्टर निशा इज सेइंग कि भी हम तो थक गए हैं नए लोगों को लेना चाहिए जो नए
बाल सफेद हो गए हमारे
जिनको नहीं पता है जिनको नए लोग उनमें लेना चाहिए और जिनके पग गए उन्हें क्यों इस पछड़े पड़ना उनको भी लेनी चाहिए
बिल्कुल स्मूथली
हमें तो समय ने बहुत कुछ सिखा दिया अभी
इसलिए तो आपको दोबारा नहीं थकना इसमें इसलिए आपको जरूर लेनी चाहिए दोबारा आपकी छोड़ो अब नहीं जाना मुझे वहाँ अब इनको जाने दो
एक और गाइडेंस दीजिए which all steps the court takes you through like first you receive a intimation from DMC and then MCI I mean please guide us on this aspect also
Doctor, let me be, this is not the time to do it, but one thing I wish to tell you, each and every doctor listening us should do this PG certificate course of medical legal issues. And I
That's
think this
true.
is much fun. All of you who are participating in this, you are participating confidently because you've gone through the course.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's
I think
true.
that message is very loud and clear that we should, in addition to what we are doing, also take on this course so that we understand what medical legal is all about.
मैडम आपका क्वेश्चन क्या था सोनल मैडम?
हाँ जी सर. Sir, through which all notices we go through? I mean, just to understand, some district level, then state level. I mean, what all these things are?
There are three pura district, state, and national. And now, according to new CPA, all cases in which this discharge is taken below 1 crore will go to district commission. So you will not get notices from the state commission or national commission. Very rarely you can get if you have charged more than 1 crore rupees as a fee from the patient, and it is very unusual. So in most of the cases you will get notice from district commission. So one thing that you may get notice from patient or patient's lawyer, it is not mandatory to answer that, but it is advisable to answer it in a proper manner in denial mode. And second thing, that whenever you receive any notice from any commission, that is Human Rights Commission, Women Rights Commission, or any council, then also it is mandatory to answer that. And whenever you answer the notice, you cannot answer it casually. आप ये नहीं सोच सकते कि ये तो DMC का है तो हम casually जवाब दे दें, और ये तो patient ने पूछा है तो हम casually जवाब दे दें. Because whatever you are speaking, that will come on paper as a document. And then later on you will not be allowed to change your stance. So on the very first time when you reply any notice, never reply casually. Take proper medical legal advice and prepare proper answer and then reply.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Shakuntala, could you please propose a vote of thanks?
Right. So, dear seniors and friends, we are a strong community of PGD MSc right now. We have all undergone this course. It is a basic and advanced course on medical legal knowledge that has been, given to us. And through this knowledge, we have been able to come closer and understand the medical legal nuances and the problems our colleagues have faced. And because of this, and because of the untiring efforts of Madam Sharda Jain, she has been so persistently, vehemently upon us to join the course and to understand the nuances, because, we have been the sufferers. And that is how we came into, this being. And after understanding this course and the knowledge imparted on us, we are able to be comfortably telling you that please join us, and so that we are a stronger community, and somebody procrastinating us and telling us that, we are the outcast once a medical legal case comes against one of us. Rather than that, it should be that each one of us should contribute in, giving knowledge and, making that person give a better answer to the court or to the legal notice the person gets. So I'm extremely thankful to Madam Sharda Jain for all the help and for all the persistence that she has shown in, making us a stronger and better community. Dr. Geetendra and Dr. Hitesh have been the untiring teachers who have given us this knowledge. And believe me, on the times when, you will think that probably, they are available only on payment basis. But whenever I have approached them, they have been of immense help. And, once we take this indemnity insurance, which is a preventive indemnity insurance, it will be of benefit throughout the year, unlimited number. So it's like something which will give us a good sleep, that he highlighted in his lecture today. And Dr. Leena, you have been a pillar of strength. What you did was you understood the message very loud and clear, and you spread the message, and we all kind of, participated in a manner that we spread the message to all the fora, so that more and more of us could come together today and understand what was, imparted on us, so that in future we have created a better path for, more and more juniors and people like us who have been sufferers, and those who are practicing day in and day out, and then undergoing and facing such problems. So thank you so much to you as well. And thank you, everybody.
100 people could not join today. So Leena, you have to see to it that very shortly in South Delhi, along with Angela, you will have another thing within this particular week arranged for these people, so they can all hear it. Almost 100 people have written down that they could not join.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think we'll do it once more. And I think it's wonderful. There's just one small question that somebody's put with, I think Dr. Gitendra should answer before we wind up.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody has asked that preventive insurance covers all cases in a year for 10,000. So, I want, because a lot of people couldn't understand what we are talking. What is preventive medical legal insurance? In a nutshell, can you share, Dr. Gitendra?
Yes. Madam, this is a consultancy services. So whenever there is an apprehension, even 10 times in a year, it will be definitely answered and in a proper manner. So don't worry for that. And second thing, that this is over and above indemnity services. So if you are attached with any of the company for indemnity services, and then it gives in you the confidence of practice, as well as you will always have a confidence in yourself that if something will happen, then something is behind us immediately. In emergency, you will get proper services that can be assured by us.
Ruchika, Arya, you should be very clear. This is preventive consultation. Once you have a litigation, the people who are having a preventive thing will probably have to pay half of the money once you have litigation. For preventive purposes, that you may have 10 cases you may be apprehending, and 2 people will be only suing you. So at least you will be able to take a consultation indirectly 365 days from this particular company by taking a preventive insurance.
Absolutely. One more question is there. Do you recommend a particular indemnity insurance service? Dr. Gitendra?
Madam, I have said that I have given you the ideas for selection, and you are better just to select. So I cannot comment on it because there are so many insurance companies which are available and which are giving different services. So if you are happy with the services of an indemnity company, you can continue with that. That you should change any company for indemnity.
Doctor, we will have a proper discussion on this thing, which insurance to be taken. Now, today's question has been, should we go for a preventive insurance? And I think, all the people have joined are pleading you that please don't miss this opportunity. The people who are given an opportunity, the positive minds will definitely grab it. And I think this is one amount which all of us can afford for ourselves for peace of mind.
Absolutely. I think that is the message we want to give. And I think the message is very clear. Preventive medical insurance is what we should aim for. And, despite whatever actual professional indemnity you have taken, but the preventive is a very different thing, which is completely, which is something which each and every one of us needs. I think with that, thank you very much. I think it's 9 o'clock. Everybody would like to have a dinner. So thank you very much for joining in. I think we crossed 100 and there were so many people trying to get in. And we'll definitely have more of these with Dr. Shada Jain's ma'am's blessings. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Gitendra.
Dr. Angela is ready.
Right,
okay.
ma'am.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye, sir. Namaskar.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Nice to be there with all of you.
Yes. Thank you very much.